Richmond is for movie lovers. It's home to multiple film festivals, including the upcoming International Film Festival and the French Film Festival, which recently drew thousands of Francophiles to the Bird Theater for 4 days of cinematic excitement. Ever wonder why those tricolor flags appear around Carytown in early spring? It's to build the hype around the festival, the largest event of its kind in the U.S. Large crowds flock to the Bird to see new films of every genre, all of which are subtitled in English, and to have conversations with the filmmakers themselves. Word of mouth is often the best publicity. I spoke to Andrew McMillan and his friend as they stood in line to see a movie called Cessez-le-Feu, or Ceasefire, a post-World War I historic drama.
Andrew, nice to meet you. And where are you from?
I live in Narrows, Virginia.
Okay. And how far did you come then to make it to the Richmond Film Festival?
4 hours.
Oh my goodness.
200 miles.
200 miles.
Yeah, I was here last year, and I'm a Lyft driver, and I picked up a guy by accident. He told me to come to the French Film Festival, and it was so great last year. I made a special trip this year, and brought a friend from Texas.
Oh my goodness, he came even further from even further.
No, it was only 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
And he's a filmmaker.
A filmmaker
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm really big on war, like World War I, World War II, and it sounded like a relevant story.
And which other one did you see?
The
Oh yes, the one about the public speaking program.
Oh my goodness! And the guy's here, Eddie.
Assistant Director Leclerc described the Q&A and its ripple effect. The moviegoers really ask interesting questions during the Q&A and want to keep going and going, and that's why we have a hard time sticking to the program schedule. And the audience continues with these reactions once outside the Bird in Carytown. You have continual exchanges throughout the weekend, and that's really heartwarming for certain directors and producers of short films or feature films. That rekindles their desire to go back and make more films right away.
Sure. And could I get your name again, please?
It's Jeff Holbert, and I'm the founder of the Patriot Picket.
I see. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that organization?
We are a demonstration group that we go wherever the Second Amendment and the First Amendment are under threat. There's plenty of places and plenty of times when there are folks calling for restrictions on speech. There's something called hate speech, which is not in the Constitution. Right now, we simply have an issue where what the owner of this Red Hen restaurant did was not illegal, but at some point it crosses the line when a member of the public, she was welcomed through the doors. She wasn't stopped at the front door. They were seated. They ordered food. That's when they decided that they wanted to eject her and her family on the street. And I don't know how a restaurant can stay in business.
What do you think then about the aftermath and what's happened to Lexington businesses since then, with the backlash in social media toward other Lexington businesses?
Well, we were here Saturday with a very large group of folks who patronized as many businesses as we could. We stopped in 3 different places: the handmade ice cream shop, we went to the Southern Inn to have dinner.
Nathaniel Williams.
And you're a student at WNL. When is your graduation year?
I'll be graduating 2021.
Okay.
I do not live on campus. I live in a house I rent in town, and I am a summer camp counselor.
Great. And so since you have been coming around town, do you do a lot of walking here past the Red Hen?
Yes, I walk past the Red Hen a lot because I live on Randolph Street, which the Red Hen, right around the corner. And
how has that changed?
Well, I used to walk around and not see a bunch of people holding signs, and now I do. And on days like today when I'm bored, I come out and I talk to those people just because I'm curious what they have to say and want to expose them to maybe a more friendly liberal than the people driving by yelling obscenities.
We've heard a little bit about those today. So what have you been sharing with folks when you mentioned a different viewpoint or perhaps a more civil discourse? What have you been saying to people you've met here?
So, first couple I walked up to, very nice lady and gentleman, and I just walked up to them and said, hey, you know, I live down the street. This has brought a lot of press to my community. I may disagree with you, but I want to hear what you have to say, because you're out here. I respect people on my side of the aisle going out and marching, so I must respect y'all coming out and marching for what y'all want to say. So by all means, let's hear it. And we had a nice discourse about where he was, where I was, and we came to an agreement, surprisingly, or unsurprisingly if you actually do civil discourse. We essentially agreed that on both sides of the aisle, people were becoming polarized in this nation. People were not willing to have civil discourse like the kinds we were trying to have, and we did have successfully. And we just had a really nice conversation, and it was okay. It was like the good old days I've heard of, where Republicans and Democrats grab a beer together.
Politics, protesting, my way or the highway.